Good evening, sir. Gabrielle, you got the news production line going? Firing it back up? Yeah. Aren't we all, brother? Aren't we all? No, we are not in Calabasas. We are probably, I would say, Encino right now. Woodland Hills, Encino. And southbound 101 approaching Shoup. If you guys are just joining us on the web, you're just picking this up right about the same time we are. It is a pursuit. Just be advised that everybody involved here will be on KCAL here shortly. So if you hear me kind of stutter and stop, it's probably because I'm talking to some other people, producers. They're going to be putting us on Channel 9. It is a pursuit. Check it out. There it is. That's the car that they're chasing. Started as a LoJack. Took them forever to find it. I can say that on the web. I probably won't say that on the television. It was a LoJack car. They've been following this thing since Hollywood about. Made its way northbound all the way out to Calabasas. They picked this thing up. It made a U-turn, got off the freeway, basically made a U-turn, got back on the freeway, and that's when the chase started. We picked it up over there just about the edge of Calabasas. Right now we're probably in Encino, Tarzana, right about that area. It's on the 101 freeway. This guy's been liking the 101. That's basically what he's been on the whole time. LoJack. It's an Avenger, a 2013 Avenger. If I had to guess, I'd say front-wheel drive, V6. High speeds, well, let's just say faster than freeways. Definitely not into the 3 digits, that's for sure. But he's definitely about 80, 90 miles an hour. Right now, I'm just hearing out of one ear that they're talking about they're going into some kind of tracking mode, and you can see the unit right behind it, right there, that black and white. That's going to be LAPD. Turned off their reds and blues. The helicopter overhead still lighting it up, and this car's still continuing on. Don't think that tracking mode is going to make this guy go, hey, you know what, I'm just going to go ahead and stop driving fast. It looks like we're going to be exiting right there. Southbound 101 at Corbin might be exiting. We're going to see what happens here in just a moment. Doesn't look like, nope. Passing. They are right now. So this is what happened. We did not get off at Corbin. They were talking about getting off at Corbin. They're staying on the freeway right there. He's in the slower lane though, so he might be taking another off ramp. LAPD says, you know, hey, if he stays on the freeways, you know what? Let's let California Highway Patrol have some of this, and that's what they're talking about right now. I mean, they might not be saying it like that, but that's basically what's going on. This vehicle right now, stolen vehicle, LoJack, or some type of LoJack device in there. That's how they found it. They've been tracking it for some time. The company making phone calls. It gets crazy. But I can tell you that that vehicle is a stolen vehicle. They want it to stop. It was at crazy high speeds. Now it's basically freeway speeds. It's on the far right-hand lane. So he could be taking any off-ramp at any time. We're on the 101 freeway. We're going to be approaching the 405 here shortly. Yes, there is traffic. It's Thursday night out here in Los Angeles, out in the valley. You know these streets are going to be crowded. The freeways are. They are, let's just say, pleasingly crowded. Meaning there's a lot of cars out there, but the traffic is moving. There's nothing like hard on the brakes, no parking lot type of situation at all. The helicopter's still overhead. This car's still moving along. LAPD in what's called tracking mode. That means there's going to be an LAPD car behind him somewhere. I do see it right there. And the helicopter up overhead. They are talking to California Highway Patrol, and California Highway Patrol might pull up behind it. And they might be taking a different stance. All right, copy all. Oh, we're coming up on the 405. I think we just went over Balboa Haskell. Hey, Travis, what city are we in? Tarzana. All right, copy all. Encino. I hear Jeff. Copy all, thank you. Yes, definitely, right there, right there. Yes, can you make out the light? No, it's there. All right. Jeff and thank you. Well, it's a GTA suspect, and they're actually working on that right now. They're trying to figure out if there was a weapon used. They're trying to figure out how violent the crime was that took this vehicle. The car is stolen. We do know that for a fact. They're calling it a 2013 Avenger. It was being followed by some sort of tracking device. Not sure if it was LoJack, but it was something like that. This had been going on for some time. This car's been on the freeways from the Hollywood area all the way out to Calabasas. By the time it was out in Calabasas, got off the freeway, made the turn, made a big U-turn, got back on the freeway, and that's where we picked it up, southbound 101, and it's been on the southbound 101 ever since. The helicopter overhead, that's going to be LAPD. LAPD behind it, but they've fallen into what's called tracking mode. Drawing a little bit wider, going to show you one of the LAPD units right there. That's one of the ones that was right behind it earlier on, but he's backed off as he was told to. They're talking about possibly getting California Highway Patrol involved. Where are we right now? This is going to be the 101 freeway, probably at or just about, I think that's the exit right there. That's going to be White Oak. And if earlier on, he was going very fast, probably about 90 miles an hour. Right now, he's going, but you can see the regular traffic is actually passing him, so he's probably going about 65. But it is a stolen vehicle. They do want him to pull over. Right now, they're in tracking mode, but that doesn't mean that they're throwing their hands up and walking away from this. You know, I think it was the high speeds that the officers from LAPD worried about what was going on. They were thinking that, you know, if this is just what they would call a straight stolen vehicle, no weapons were used or any kind of violent crime, they didn't want to take the risk. It's all a big management type of situation where, you know, you got to think, this guy's driving crazy. He might hurt somebody on the freeway. He might hurt himself. Is it worth the chase? Obviously, if that's your car and you're watching it at home, you're probably saying, yeah, it's worth it. I want my car back. But you know what? To everybody else in life and limb, that's something different. So they made a decision somewhere along the line that, you know what, we're just going to go into tracking mode. We're going to follow this guy, see where he goes. And it did. It worked this time. He has slowed down quite a bit. But that doesn't mean that they've walked away from this. That doesn't mean that they've given up the chase. CHP, they're talking to them right now. Not sure if they're going to jump in on this, but there is some talk that California Highway Patrol might get involved, and then this might be a totally different chase altogether. But basically, California Highway Patrol is going to have a totally different thing. I want to let everybody know we're 101 southbound right now. Sherman Oaks is going to be the big city that we're coming up onto right now. That's going to be the 405 that he's probably over right now. And you know what? I just naturally say he. And, you know, I got to be careful with that. So many of these pursuits that we've had lately, it's been females drivers. So, you know, we'll just say the suspect right now passing the 405 freeway, southbound on the 101. You know, Van Nuys is going to be the next one. But, you know, what's going to happen with California Highway Patrol? They might have a totally different stance. They might get right behind this car, lights and sirens, might be a full-blown pursuit once again, or they might do much of the same thing. They might just get behind them and just kind of hang there and follow them. Right now, though, helicopter still overhead. If the California Highway Patrol is going to get... If the California, I'm sorry about that. What I just heard, the newest information I just heard is that now we're hearing LAPD is just giving it up. They're walking away. It doesn't mean the helicopter is going to stop following them, but that does mean for sure that the LAPD is going to drop out of it, and that's because California Highway Patrol is here. Now, those are the ground units. But as for the helicopter, they did, and there's... Oh, so there's the 1st Highway Patrol unit, and the helicopter is definitely going to stay overhead, assisting California Highway Patrol, and now it's back into a pursuit mode. That we don't know. Dark windows all the way around that nobody's actually even said. We can't even confirm that it's a male driver right now. We just know that there is somebody driving. Obviously, it's not going to be one of those self-driving cars yet. But right now, this car is being pursued by California Highway Patrol. Speeds now starting to pick up just a little bit. Earlier on, when we first got overhead, he was probably pushing the 90 limit, passing cars on the freeway very, very quickly, and then they turned off their lights and sirens, and he slowed down. Went back to about 60, 65 miles an hour. Now, you can see the speeds are picking up once again. California Highway Patrol has picked this up. A LoJack, or some sort of tracking device inside that car, is what got the attention of the LAPD earlier on. But right now, we're continuing south on the 101. We are passing. We're past Van Nuys, and we're continuing on, and we're going to be coming up to the Studio City area here pretty shortly. Oh, no, this thing started, I believe it started in the Hollywood area. I'm not 100% if that's the area where the car was taken from, but somehow the tracking company got a hold of LAPD. They were following this on the 101 for quite some time. And they were trying to get the units behind it. There's a delay, obviously, between the where is it now and etc. I'm just telling you, right now, there's a lot of traffic coming up here as we're working our way on southbound 101. Anybody traveling this part of the roadway as you're starting to approach Coldwater Canyon, Laurel Canyon, that type of area, everybody knows Studio City, yes, it is, and that's, this area right here starts to plug up. We get a lot of traffic. Everybody starts bunching up. There's some turns. There's going to be the 134, the 101 as it turns to the south. So this is where it slows down. You can see that car is slowing down as well. If he gets off the freeway, I'm really curious to see if LAPD picks it up. The only time that we know that it was on a surface street was for some very short amount of time up in the Calabasas area. It was on Agora Road for a little bit, and then it basically made a big U-turn. It got off the northbound 101 and then got back onto the southbound 101 up there in the Calabasas area, and it was just moments on the road basically as it got off the freeway and made that big turn to get back onto the freeway. That's the only time we've seen it off the freeway. And you can see the traffic right now really starting to build, that car slowing down, and other people doing what they're supposed to do when you have lights and sirens behind you. They're moving out of the way, but it's actually clearing a path for that suspect to continue on. Yes, there are, and you're right. We're coming up onto the Laurel Canyon area right now, and this is the area where it starts getting really backed up, and then those transitions are going to start showing up. He hasn't been an aggressive driver. The suspect has not been aggressive in his driving this evening at all. At one point, we saw some higher speeds, but for the most part, we've been seeing this, and it's going And we're just kind of just moving along out here. We're understanding that they're going to be passing over Colfax here in just a moment, but he's just kind of moving along a little faster than the traffic out here. Don't know what he's going to transition onto because he's taking those center lanes right there. You just saw the signs. He could stay on the southbound 101, or he could go onto the 134. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Obviously, we want to tell all our viewers where we are. It's going to be Studio City area for sure right now on the southbound 101, and it's kind of an interesting thing to see. Like, you can see the reds and blues in those rearview mirrors flashing every now and then. So you know that guy knows that the officers are behind him. He is still driving a little bit slower. Looks like he's going to be pretty much confirmed now. Yes, he is. He's going to stay on the southbound 101. So we're going to be heading into the Universal City area. But yeah, then Hollywood. But that's kind of where it started, so I'm curious to see if he's going to get off the freeway. Right now, though, look at that. Just a couple of blinking lights, and the roads are getting clear for that suspect. But he isn't really hammering it in. He isn't going much faster than you would think he would be. Very slow moving now on the freeway, probably less than freeway speeds. 2013 Avenger, stolen vehicle. Apparently, California Highway Patrol wants this guy to stop, and he's not. You guys can see right there, we're approaching Vineland, and it looks like he may be taking the off-ramp. Oh, there he goes. He's not. No, we don't. And, Susie, that would be such great information, and that would also, law enforcement was actually asking those questions. They were using that information to base their, how aggressive do we want to be to stop this? Obviously, if this is an armed suspect, if this is a person that did a violent crime, they would be much more aggressive in their attempt to stop that vehicle, and they'd also be a little bit more tender when the vehicle stops because they don't want to have any of their officers hurt. There's going to be southbound 101 freeway just coming up on the Lancashire off-ramp right there. But right now, you can see that vehicle still just moving along about normal, slower than freeway speeds. This freeway is wide open. He really could move out. Back to the what he's wanted for, I never heard the answer. I don't know if they actually know. They know that the vehicle is stolen, but they don't know if it's one of those sneaky guys in the middle of the night took the car, or possibly somebody came and physically took the car from somebody. That type of information is very valuable to law enforcement. They might not be sharing that with us this evening. But right now, slow-moving chase as we're working our way. We're going to be getting into the Cahuenga Pass here. I can tell you southbound, luckily, not that much traffic, but we've seen them turn around in the past. Yeah. Well, we just passed Sunset, I can tell you that. Southbound 101 freeway. Hollywood is definitely the city we're in. And, you know, this car, you were talking about that traffic, and, you know, I'm looking up ahead, and it is a lot of traffic. There is a lot of tail lights coming up. He has had this, you know, escort going on with the reds and blues behind him. People have been moving out from behind him, and also some of the cars in front of him. But right now, I can tell you, the traffic is going to really start to build. The car originally came out of the Hollywood area. I'm interested to see if he gets off the freeway. He did speed up there for a little bit, and then he started slowing down again. Right now, he's starting to really start to hit some of that traffic we were talking about. I don't know if we're at Vermont, but we're very, very close to Vermont. Maybe this is Western. I heard you mention about Google Maps. Love the Google Maps, but you can see him right there trying to work his way. Other people trying to get out of the way, and this guy's taking advantage of that, creating these open lanes. Very, very slow moving. Are they going to use the pit out here? I don't think so. Not with all this kind of traffic around him. It would be interesting to see, that's for sure. California Highway Patrol right up on that vehicle, though. This is probably the closest we've seen it all evening. That's going to be Santa Monica in the center of your shot right there. That's Santa Monica Boulevard, obviously, not the city. We're in Hollywood. And that car is still moving along very, very slowly. California Highway Patrol, they got one car there. They've got other ones in the area. And, you know, they've been talking about this also. They're going to start switching it off. So just like LAPD has several different divisions, California Highway Patrol has several different divisions. They don't have one thing that does all the freeways. So they're going to be handing this off to another division here shortly. So we might see that SUV swap out to something else. This driver getting a little bit more aggressive now. This is going to be something to watch. We'll see if he gets off the freeway. No. No, excellent idea. It's 909 Graphics. I think that's some sort of car club. Don't quote me, and I'm probably going to get a bunch of tweets about that later on. But it says 909 Graphics on there, and you can see they just passed another LAPD vehicle. They are in the area. They are listening. They do know that this is coming. Obviously, all the law enforcement. It's a coordinated effort, so they know what's going on. They're just coming up now. I believe this is going to be. I'm going to do the old-fashioned way. Just take a look out the window. No, I thought we were at Vermont, so we're just getting close to Vermont right now. But this vehicle is still moving, and look at the traffic. Look at this traffic. If this person was armed, this would be a very tense situation for the officers or any of the law enforcement that's going to be in this area. If that other person had a weapon, they would be very, very cautious right now, worried about the public, and that's what they do, and that's one of the reasons why they drop it out. And we're approaching Melrose right now. The Melrose is going to be the next off-ramp as we're making our way southbound on the 101. But take a look at this. You know, he's just kind of creeping along. He's doing his own thing right there, probably enjoying his last couple of moments of freedom. LAPD was in pursuit. California Highway Patrol now has it. But if he gets off the freeway, it might switch back the other way around very, very quickly. You got to know, though, the helicopter, that's that light that we're seeing. That's definitely not from Sky 9 there this evening. That's going to be from LAPD. They're going to be staying with this as long as they can, and they'll swap out if they need fuel. But very slow moving out here. We've seen some opportunities where he could have done something nutty. Nothing outrageous been going on. This car just kind of tools along around the freeway, and California Highway Patrol right behind him, ready to pounce if they have that opportunity. No, no, just want to see it. Getting off. Yep, it's an off ramp. It's definitely an off ramp. I think this is going to be Silver Lake. Don't quote me yet. They said this is Vermont exit. I don't think this is this is not going to be Vermont. That's what they just said, but it is not. He's getting off the freeway right there. You can see him making a turn. LAPD is getting notified. California Highway Patrol is going to be right behind it. I haven't heard that beautiful pit word being thrown out yet. I'm waiting to hear them say if they're allowed to do it or if they are going to be able to. Right now, though, that car is actually stopping for a stoplight, which is really good. That's nice. It's good to see. And you know what? I'm talking all that mess, and you know what? We are on Vermont. My bad, totally. We're going to be northbound on Vermont right now. We're going to be heading north into the back into the Hollywood area if he doesn't get back onto the freeway. We've seen this in the past where they just get off the freeway, get back onto the freeway. It does look like he's just going to get back onto the freeway again. And if you thought this was a slow-moving pursuit as it's working its way south, northbound, it's going to be just as bad, if not worse. This is one of those times when you just got to look at it and you say to yourself, why isn't the CHP, or you armchair it? You just sit up here and you say they have that opportunity. Why aren't they taking it? Well, you know what? It looks like they have that opportunity, but officers have to consider all the facts around it. They're constantly looking for how this could go wrong, opposed to how they could stop it. So that's the reason why they're not being aggressive, why they're not doing anything to bring this to an end. That's aggressive right now. But getting back onto the freeway, they got an on-ramp right there. It's going to be northbound 101. And you can see him speeding up a little bit, but there is a lot of traffic out there. We were watching it earlier on, but now we're going back the way we came. That was Vermont. My bad. I feel bad that I didn't recognize the turn, but we were at 101 in Vermont, and now we're working our way the other direction. And you saw that bag that wasn't thrown from the vehicle. He just drove over it. You know, Susie, we were not over it when that was going on. We were listening. We were, putting the pedal to the metal on Sky 9, trying to get out to that area. We were just listening to it, and at that time, I think they were still looking for that car. They got behind the vehicle that matched the description, but they were trying to confirm if that was the vehicle. And I think it was actually back onto the freeway, and then they turned on their lights and sirens, and that's when it started as a failure to yield and then became a pursuit. We passed Melrose as we're working our way now northbound on the 101. We've passed Melrose. That was the last off-ramp that we just saw. So we're working our way back into the Hollywood area. He's basically threading the needle through a lot of traffic out here. A lot of people out there, you're probably seeing this and hearing this, and maybe they are listening to our good friends at KNX, and maybe they're playing it, and they realize this is coming. Don't try to do anything to stop it. We learned that from the LAPD, is that they don't really want the public's help to stop a vehicle like this. So if you see it coming, just obey the laws. Be predictable. That's what they're always saying. Be predictable. Meaning if you see the lights and sirens or you hear the lights and sirens, do what you're supposed to do. The helicopter now telling the ground units very heavy traffic coming up, so they're expecting this to almost be stopped here in just a minute. Looks like we're getting off the freeway again. We're exiting on Sunset. There's going to be Sunset. Makes that big sweeping turn, takes you around over to Sunset right there. If I remember my area right, yep, it's going to be right by that Shell station. I was just going to say that. But you can see the helicopter overhead. They are concerned that he's going to, it's going to be on surface streets. It's going to be a different type of situation. Another opportunity where they could have done something to bring this to an end, but they didn't. Not sure if he's going to do one of those just get back on the freeway things. Very tedious pursuit for sure. Tedious for the officers, tedious for that helicopter pilot as well. And of course our helicopter pilot, who's Travis this evening. He looks like he's continuing on Sunset. I don't know if there's any kind of on-ramp. There isn't. We're driving away from any of the on-ramps, so we're on Sunset Boulevard. We're going to be westbound right now. More and more traffic. It's going to get a lot slower. If you thought it was slow on the freeway, it's going to be a lot slower right now. People moving out of the way, though, that's always good to see, that people are obeying the laws of the officers with their lights and sirens. I believe that's going to be Gower right there. I'm not 100%, but I think that's going to be Gower. It looks like we're making another northbound turn on Gower. But Bronson, excuse me, it's Bronson, my bad. Northbound on Bronson, but moving so slowly. I don't know if he's teasing the officers or there's an issue with the vehicle or what the reasoning is, but it is moving so painfully slow right now as we're working our way northbound on Bronson in the Hollywood area. I think there's an on-ramp coming up. Hey, Booth, do you have me? Booth? All right, I'm going to turn the show down. Guys, I'm just turning the show down. I think we're still streaming. That's what I needed to hear. Thank you so much, Ansamo. Thank you so much, Ansamo. Ansamo, one of our awesome desk people this evening, were just telling me that we're still streaming. Just, if you guys were listening, that we were doing something live on television. Now it's just me. Sorry, guys. You don't have the pros. You just got me. Very slow speed pursuit. Now we're on Hollywood Boulevard. Gosh only knows, if you live in California and you live in the area, how many times have you been late night on Hollywood Boulevard just kind of driving like this but not having officers behind you? Gosh only knows. Right now, though, this car is wanted. They wanted to stop it. We're dressing Argyle right there. The Sidewalk of Fame, star-studded. If you're not from California, this might be something really cool for you to watch, but you can see it's a pursuit happening right here on Hollywood Boulevard. Walk of Fame right there. People not even really stopping to take a look at what's going on. That just shows you what it's like in California. Anyway, I believe that's going to be Vine doing a little cameraman trick right there, reading the sign. California Highway Patrol, they're the ones right behind them. Are they trying to hand it off to the LAPD? Well, yes. But this is the first time we've seen these doors pop open right there. That's the first time we've seen something like that. But that's only because the officers are taking advantage of it. Take a look at that. I think that's going to be the W Hotel. You got some people out there with their phones out. They're going to, look for that on Twitter. I got to tell you, this is the world we live in today. It is all about the social media, what we see, what's going on. But on the sidewalk itself, you got some just people out there right now just kind of like doing the what the heck is going on here. This is a pursuit. Welcome to California, folks. Probably a lot of these people are going to be tourists. Now we're going to keep on moving. We're passing Vine. Very, very slow moving, but it is continuing on. This is a pursuit. This guy is wanted for failure to yield. That's a stolen vehicle that's moving so slowly that my pilot Travis today doesn't know if we should stop and just hang out or go. It is moving that slow. Traffic right now, very, very light, mostly because there was a red light, and they're the first ones. They got pole position, but it is so slow. Passing Ivar now. As we continue on, we're going to start seeing some of the sights out here. Musso and Franks is coming up. I know that for a fact. Anyways, as we keep on moving, we're going to see what's going on. I don't know why he's going so slow. It is beyond me. Something we do see right now, something has changed out. That right there, not California Highway Patrol. That right there, that's going to be LAPD. That's going to be Hollywood Division. They've got their guns out. You see the guy first time we actually see something. He's got the window down. He's got black gloves. Now I'm going to venture to say that that's a guy. Right now, though, just kind of sitting there waiting, looking through the rearview mirror. Officers from LAPD, we might be a little light with this reporting, but these guys, not light. These guys are on it 110%, super sharp. They got weapons out on this guy right now. If he would throw that car into reverse, this would be... Flood, were you yelling at me? I think we're at Argyle. Don't quote me. I think we're Argyle. Let me double check. Well, we'll get you another one here in a second. I got to listen to LAPD. Slow rate of speed. Okay, I'm listening to it. That was Cahuenga. That was Cahuenga. So LAPD's joining the game, and they are, you know what, they are bringing game. Now they're talking about spike strips. Now they're talking about pit maneuver. Haven't seen any of this stuff yet. We're going westbound Hollywood. We're just passing Argyle. We're just making their way very slow. He's got his window down. This is the first time we actually see the driver of that vehicle. They're talking about maybe, I mean, I'm on the web, you know, I'm not giving anything away. They're talking about maybe trying to stop this thing as they get over to Hollywood and Highland. Very slow moving. That's what the officers are saying. That's the quote. We've been watching it. It's been painfully slow as it was on the freeway. Now at least we're on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. You know, it makes it a little bit more exciting. At least it's more to see, especially if you're watching this in some other places. We just passed Musso and Frank's. Great place to eat. If you're out here, it's also a landmark out here in the Hollywood, in California, especially in Hollywood. Stopping at another light, Las Palmas, and that was, but you can see every time that this vehicle stops, LAPD gets out, doors pop open, windows are, you know, guns are out. Guy has got his hands out of the window, but he never is stopping. He just kind of holds his hands out. He waves his hands around. Got some black gloves on. I don't know if he's like playing GTA tonight, but, you know, I just hope he doesn't end up hurting himself, especially not hurting somebody else. Take a look at these officers. They are not in any kind of playful mood at all. Car's probably starting to go again as the light turns green. He's waving his hand out the window. And slow rate of speed out past Las Palmas, Hollywood Boulevard. Look at that. People on the sidewalk pulling out their phones. Everybody's trying to grab pictures of it. Don't want to say this is any kind of deja vu, but the last time we saw something like this, it ended very, very poorly for the driver. Don't ever want to see anything like that. That's one of the reasons why you can't just sit here and start poking fun at things like this. Somebody out there on the street wanted to get a selfie with the car. It looks like that's what they were doing right there. Not sure if that was the plan or not, but obviously something you don't want to do. Now that the pursuit continues on, there's the wax factory, or the wax museum right there. We're going to be approaching Highland. I just kind of know this area. But the pursuit continues on, very slow moving. We haven't seen officers use any kind of opportunity to stop that vehicle. They got that utility truck right there. He's waiting at a light. That's might mess up their opportunity to use the spike strips. But he's just kind of creeping up right there, creep, and he's going to get next to that utility truck. It's going to be Highland Boulevard. If he goes north, he can probably get back onto the freeway. He seemed to like the freeways, even though not moving much faster. At least when he's on the streets, we got something else to see. Right now, though, Hollywood. This is Hollywood and Highland. Very busy intersection. You got sheriffs out here, probably not involved in the pursuit, probably just out here just doing their thing, patrolling the area, probably for the subways. Just happened to be here. LAPD right there. These guys not playing. Those are not less than lethal rounds. Those are real guns. Not that less than lethal rounds come out of fake guns, but you know what I'm talking about. Stale red. This is the longest light in history for me. I just want to see this car move. I want to see which way it goes. You can see the officers all over this area right now. But we're waiting to see where this goes, what happens next. Well, stopping at stoplights, that's one thing, but you just saw that car pit in reverse and roll backwards. Very, very dangerous situation indeed. You never, ever want to use a vehicle as a weapon towards officers, especially these officers. This evening, they are out, they are poised, they are ready for action, and this is not a game. This is very, very real. Officers are from LAPD are out here. This light has been red forever, what seems like forever. This is Hollywood and Highland. There we go, finally a green light. Now we're going to see what happens. But you can see there's officers from LAPD all around this intersection. He's making his move now very, very slowly. We heard the words that there might have been some spike strips in the area. We haven't seen them, and possibly they weren't able to deploy them. There you go. You got a camera person on the side of the road right there. Don't know if that's a stringer or somebody from a station. Again, this is what you don't want to do. This is what officers from LAPD talk about constantly, how they hate this type of interaction with the public. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know if that person's got a gun. They're worried about your safety. They're worried about everybody's safety. What's going on here? Spike strips. So Jeff Susie, Hollywood Boulevard, right in front of the the old Chinese theater, and you can see officers actually running away from the scene because, like I said, they don't know if this guy's armed, but the car obviously sees the spike strips and is just going to drive around it. Right. Right. And look at the people. Look at the crowd control. Look what the officers have to deal with. Look at this. And as an you got to put yourself in that situation. You got somebody who's a criminal. You know he's a criminal, right? And he stole this vehicle. He might have taken it by force. So there's a good possibility he's got a gun and he's willing to steal a vehicle. Now, I understand you're law enforcement, but are you going to walk up to that person knowing that he may have a gun in his lap or in the car somewhere? That's the reason why they don't do it. There we go. There's that U-turn. They could have, but we haven't heard that word. Take a look at the public response out here. This is Hollywood and Highland. Look at the crowd control. Look at this. This is just mounting issues for those officers, for any law enforcement. They have to worry about all these people now in the area, their safety, as well as the officer. Yeah, there you go. You've got a camera guy running around out there. Yeah, and that's obvious. Well, I'm not going to say obviously, but I believe that that's a stringer. But you know, you got to look at all this. All these factors are factoring into what that law enforcement, that first LAPD officer, and probably the other ones as well, what they have to deal with. There you go. There's another officer attempting that spike strip one more time. You know, tossing it out in front of him like that. You know, he's going to make that slow move again. We're moving Sky 9 around the best we can. We're pretty much up there. And that is very dangerous also because those officers are right there. You do not want to see that car make contact. Hollywood and Highland. That's a window. That's a hand for sure, Jeff. He's had his hand out there for some time. We've confirmed that that's pretty much sure that that's a male driver right there. But you know, he's got this lackadaisical attitude. You've got a guy right there, an officer, a trained professional. Don't get that ever wrong. But you know what? He's holding that spike strip and he's holding a gun, training a gun on this person that's driving that vehicle, a suspect. And then look back here, all these officers as well, weapons drawn. And then you have to think to yourself, look at all these people, just innocent bystanders right now who think that this is some sort of spectacle, because it is. Somebody driving their bike across the roadway right there as well. Now, yes, sure, of course, this is Hollywood. This is, you know, what some people think is in Hollywood all the time, but this is a very dangerous situation. Other officers right now trying to throw out some spike strips just in case he wants to back up, but if that guy backs up at any kind of speed, he's going to wind up hitting any one of those LAPD vehicles. You know, armchair observation, it might have been better to throw that spike strip in between. There we go. There we go. That's where you put the spike strip. And you know, obviously that's a man with some stripes right there, so that's got to be a sergeant. So, you know, there you go. So if this car goes, we know he's probably going to get at least one flat tire out of this. But he sits here, and he's been taunting these officers all evening. We do see some green weapons out there, some less than lethal, but we also see a lot of guns out, real, you know, lethal weapons out. This is the first time we see the door pop open, so I'm kind of wondering what's going to go on. These guys, they just want to get out of the way. I don't blame them. They need to leave. Yep. No, that's definitely that's not from the engine, and that's the old you know, smoke him if you got him, and he's obviously smoking. What's he smoking? Gosh only knows at this point, but definitely he's interacting. Yeah, he's definitely interacting though with the officers. And look at the crowd. Look at the crowds out here. Officers from the LAPD having to deal with that as well. They got the crowd away from this area right here. You know, LAPD taking this extremely, extremely serious. This guy thinking that it's some kind of game, some kind of joke, interacting with the officers. But you know what? We never saw those keys fall out the window. We haven't seen any type of notion that that car is not running anymore. Those lights have stayed on. We haven't seen that car shut off. Officers from LAPD definitely out here ready to do something if he starts moving again. We've gone through one light signal or one cycle. So right now this is basically a little bit of a standoff, but that car easily could just be put into drive and driven off. If those officers don't rush it, we know it will get at least one flat tire. They did put that spike strip in a spot where it's guaranteed to at least run over one tire. See some action inside the center console. Don't know if he's putting it into park or if he's taking the keys out of the ignition. but definitely interacting. I wish we could hear what he's saying. This is all happening heart of Hollywood, like you said, Hollywood and Highland. Look at the crowds. Yep. Officers, being aggressive there, taking that suspect out of that vehicle, helping him to the ground there. They're going to be taking him into custody. It does seem like it's going to come to an end right now, and curious to see, where it's going to, how it's going to end. But one suspect being taken into custody right now, Hollywood and Highland. That is going to be a stolen vehicle suspect at best, at least. Sorry, and may have been an armed suspect now out of the vehicle on the ground being taken into custody. Huh? This is all LAPD all the way, all the time, especially out here in Hollywood. The California Highway Patrol, they handed it off to the officers when we were watching it on Hollywood Boulevard earlier on this evening. But take a look at the number of officers out here and the crowds. This coming to an end, thank goodness, safely. And, that customer, he'll be happy to know no flat tires, and it didn't look like they did a pit, so there'll probably be no damage to that vehicle. But very bizarre ending to a slow speed chase, but you know what? All these people out here, probably a lot of them tourists. They picked the right day to come join and visit our lovely city of Hollywood. That's for sure. Travis, thank you, brother. You rocked it. No, I can't get you the license plate. I'm sorry, Ansamo. I've been trying, and I don't know if we can. I thought you were going to ask me for the license plate. Oh, thank you. Let me find out. Hey, what is our fuel situation? Hour 20. We have to be on the ground in 1 hour 20 minutes. I don't know if we can get down that low yet. We're gonna have to wait for the other the LAPD ship to get out of the way, and then we can see. They want a license plate. It's going to be the back one. There's no front plate. Sorry, I'm sorry. I was answering a text. I know. I make your life miserable. And if you're still with us on the web, it's those guys again. They always got to put their truck in our shots. I guess it's the best way they can get their advertisement in. You're going to have to drop down Lhasa. That's a technical term. I can't read the plate, can you? All right, we're working on it. We're working on it. 2 Victor Echo X-ray 899. 2 Victor. Hang on. Okay, it's either a 2 or a 7, Ansamo. 7 Victor Echo X-ray 899. 899, the last 3, 899. And it's going to be a 7 Victor Echo X-ray. Oh, do you have it? We might not be able to do it because we might not be able to. I might not have any way to navigate. Twenty minutes. 20 minutes. It's all good. Go ahead, go ahead. Oh, that's so nice. I just got information that they're going to kill the internet stream. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Electronic devices are dying because of cable, and I'm trying to save that for work. I'm doing air quotes. So anyways, and when I say navigation, meaning me telling a pilot how to get to where, you know, streets and addresses, that's how we find stuff out here. But anyway, thank you so much for watching and joining along with us. And it wasn't, maybe not been the craziest one we've ever seen, but it also wasn't the boringest. And for my gosh sakes, that was so weird of an ending, wasn't it? Anyway, thanks everybody for joining us. And KCAL 9, CBS, watch it.